stop wasting your talents. Ensure that you become globally recognized so that you can tap into this visa opportunity. Hello there. How are you doing today? I hope that you are doing fine. Thank you for joining me once again on my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 10 visa opportunities or categories with which you can move to the United States from anywhere in the world. These visa categories all have opportunities for you to migrate to a permanent residency status, which is popularly called the green card status, or citizenship eventually. Please note that this video is only for information purposes only. I am not an immigration lawyer, so I am not able to advise you, but I am sharing this so that you can be aware that there are a lot of opportunities with which you can come into the United States beyond just what you are looking at, so that if there is any opportunity that applies to you, you can easily tap into it by speaking to your immigration lawyer. So I encourage that you watch this video to the very end, because I believe that at least one of these visa categories would apply to you. If number 1 does not apply to you, definitely number 8 or number 7 would apply to you. So sit down, relax and watch. Also, please share this video with your family and friends that will really find this valuable. And you should know that for these visa categories, there are different complexities, costs, and qualifications. So take note of all the things that I'll be mentioning today. And if you have questions about any of this, let me know in the comment section below and I'll be sure to respond to them. Thank you so much. So without wasting much time, let's go into the video for today. So guys, the first category of visa that I want to share with you today is the F or M visa category. F or M because it is either one or the other. Both of these categories are for students. That is, you're coming into the United States through education route. It can be for undergrad, it can be for postgrad, or even PhD, whatever level you want to come in for. You either be F or M. For F, you are coming to study in an academic institution, while for M, you will be studying in a non-academic institution. For instance, a vocational school. For F category of visa, the good thing is that you're allowed to come with your spouse. So if you're married, you can come with your wife and your kids. But the downside to it is that during your course of study, either you or your spouse, both of you, neither of you is allowed to work during your study. So the only thing is you're allowed to work 20 hours during school session, and you can only work on campus. But during your internship, that is probably when you're on break and you're able to get internship in any of the companies available within the US, you're allowed to work 40 hours. And if you have studied a STEM related degree after your program, you will be given a 2 years post-study work permit, which can be extended for a further period of 1 year. If you have studied a non-STEM related course, you'll only be given 1 year. So within this period, you should look out to having an employer that would file a work permit for you, a permanent work permit, either your green card or your H2b. I'll be discussing H2b later in this video. So within this period, you have the opportunity to look out for this employer that will file this permanent residency for you. So this is how you are able to convert from being a student to being a permanent resident. And with your permanent residency, after 5 years, you will be eligible for citizenship in the United States. I hope this is clear. In case this is not clear, please let me know and I'll explain better in the description box below. The second category of visa that I want to share with you today is the K1 visa category. With this visa, you as a foreign national or citizen who is engaged or is a fiancé or a fiancé to a United States citizen is allowed to come into the United States and get married to your partner within 90 days. This visa category does not automatically give you the permission to work. In order to work, you will need to apply for a work authorization. After your marriage, you can be qualified for citizenship within 3 years. Usually, when you get your green card through marriage, the USCIS would give you a conditional permanent residency if the marriage is still less than 2 years. After that, you can apply for a permanent residency. And like I said before, after 3 years, you'll be qualified or eligible to apply for citizenship. The third category of visa that I want to share with you today is the L1 visa category, and L1 can be L1A or L1B. L1A applies to people that are in executive or managerial positions, while L1B applies to people that are basically employees, and they're usually called intra-company transferees. That is, if you're working for a branch of a company in your home office, they've transferred you to another location in the US. So you get intra-company transferee. And to qualify for this, you must have worked for the company for at least 1 year within 3 years before you come into the United States. That is, your work experience with this company should be at least 1 year, and in the last 3 years before you come into the United States. And your company that you're working for must have an office in the United States. You should also be able to prove that you are providing specialized services to this company. That is, the work that you're doing for this company is a specialized profession, say like accounting, legal services, medicine, all of those specialized professions like that. So with all of that, when you come into the United States, you are able to work, and this visa is usually issued for a period of 2 years, but it can be extended for 2 more years. So for L1A, like I said, L1A is executive or managerial positions. Those ones are usually quite much easier to convert to green card position. Like for green card, you can convert to EB1C green card. I'll be discussing different kinds of EB green cards in another video. So EB basically is employment based green card. So for L1A, you can easily convert to EB1C green card, but for L1B, you can convert as well, but the process can be quite complex compared to L1A. So to convert to the EB1C green card, your immigration attorney will need to file Form I-140 and Form I-485. So with this, you can then be allowed to stay permanently in the United States. And you should note that L1 category visa is a dual intent visa. That is, at the time of your application, you can have the intention to stay back in the United States, or you may not have the intention to stay in the United States. So it is not usually frowned at. You get, that is a dual intent visa, and basically it is actually a temporary visa until things can change. So with this category of visa, you will see a lot of people working with multinationals easily moving to the United States. For probably people working in like the big fours, like the PwC, the EYs and the rest, and also maybe some Chevron, Mobil, Shell, all those kind of multinationals usually come into the United States with all this with this type of visa. With this L1 visa category, you're allowed to come into the United States with your spouse and kids if you have any. And the beautiful thing about this is that it will be much cheaper for you, because the cost would not be on you. The cost will be on the company on your employer that is basically moving you from one location to the other. So if you are wondering if it is important for you to work in a big four or in a multinational, maybe this is a cue for you to start looking for job opportunities in those places if you're interested in coming into the United States. Now let's go to the next visa category that you should be looking out for. The next visa category I want to discuss is somewhat similar to the F1 visa category, but it is different, and I would explain. This is the J1 visa category. This is for people that are involved in programs promoting educational and cultural exchange, and this program is usually sponsored by educational and non-profit institutions. With J1 visa, you come into the United States either to receive training, to teach, to study, or to demonstrate some skills. And usually people like teachers, professors, researchers, trainees, interns can benefit under this program. So your visa duration will vary based on the program that you have come in for. Say if you have come in as a student, it will vary based on the duration of your study program. And even students that have finished like 1 year duration in their home country and get a sponsor in the United States can come in for this program. The thing about a J1 visa is that you can come in with your spouse, with your kids, and they are allowed to work full time. However, you as a J1 primary visa holder cannot work full time. You have to comply with the status of your visa. Another thing is, if you are sponsored by the United States Department of State or the USAID or you have come in as a undergraduate medical training, you would need to comply with a 2 years home country physical presence requirement. That means after your program, you need to go back to your home country for a period of 2 years before you can be readmitted into the United States. That means you cannot automatically change status. However, if that is not your case, you can, before the expiration of your J1 visa, apply for an H2b visa if your sponsor is able to do that for you, or if you marry a United States citizen, then you can change your status before the duration of your J1 visa. Another thing about the J1 visa is that within 30 days of your program, you need to leave the United States, whereas in the case of F1 visa, you're allowed a 60 days grace if you don't have an extension to leave the United States. Now let's discuss the H2b visa category. The H2b visa category is a visa for professionals, and the minimum qualification for this is a bachelor's degree. So like most people that have studied in the United States, they usually obtain the H2b visas first before their employers then goes on to file the permanent residence, that is green card, for them. H2b visa is usually given for a period of 3 years and can be extended for a maximum of 6 years. So after 6 years, in fact before the end of 6 years, you're expected to have moved to another visa status, to a more permanent status. If you are not able to move to that status after 6 years, you'll be expected to leave the United States. You get? So with this visa category, you can come with your spouse, you can come with your kids that are under 21 years old. Your spouse becomes H4 visa category holder, and they are usually not allowed to work. And this H2b visa is a lottery visa. Each year there is a cap of about 65,000, meaning that and it's usually like a ballot system, like a lottery, so it's majorly based on luck. Yeah, so but the thing is, it is run like twice in a year. So I think the first one happens in March and the second one's happen, I think, in October. So if you're not able to get into the system in March, there will be another opportunity for you to enter into the system in October, and by the grace of God, if you're able to get into that one, then you have your H2b visa. This gives you an opportunity to work in the United States. So that is a valid work permit that is more extended than your OPT that you obtain after your student's work experience. So if you're able to get your H2b, your employer can also file your permanent residency for you. With that, you can get up to 10 years residency. Sometimes it's not compulsory that you get the H2b visa first before you get the green card, so they can work outside of each other, but most times people would get the H2b visas first before getting the green card. The next category of visa is the 01 visa category, and we have already discussed this on this channel. Someone who has gone through this process has shared the entire process with us, and that is the person of Remi Dairo. This video, I'm going to share it in the description box again so that you can watch it in case you have missed it. I don't want to repeat anything about it because I don't want this video to be elongated than it should be. So ensure that you watch that video. But basically, this is for people who are in science, technology, who have works that have been recognized, that have been published, that are like thought leaders in their fields. They can apply for the 01 visa from their home country, and this visa can take for as low as 6 days to get approved. So it's usually easier to get it approved if you meet the requirements. So check out this video in the description box below so that you will know if this would work for you. Now let's discuss e-visa. E-visa is another opportunity through which you can come into the United States, and it is given to people who are citizens of countries that the United States maintains treaty of commerce and navigation with. With this visa, you are allowed to trade in goods, you're allowed to trade in services, you're allowed to trade in tech. So there are some countries that fall under this treaty. I'll leave a link in the description box below so that you can check if your country has that treaty with the United States. So if you work for an employer in these countries and they trade with the United States, you can come in as E1 or E2. So basically, e-visa is in 3 categories. We have E1, E2, and E3. So like I said, if you're an employer of a company in these countries and they trade with the United States, you can come in as E1 or E2. The thing about this visa is that it can only be filed in the United States, cannot be filed outside the United States. So if your country falls, or whatever country you are currently working with falls under this treaty, you can if you're interested in coming into the United States, you can start this kind of conversation to see the possibility of you coming in as E1 or E2. Also, you should speak further to your immigration lawyer before you make a final decision. If you don't want to come in as an employee, if you want to come in on your own, you need to be a citizen of a country that US maintains this treaty with, and you need to invest a substantial amount of money in a US enterprise. So speak to your immigration lawyer to see how to explore these opportunities. Now let's discuss the P1 visa category. This visa category is what is issued to people that are internationally recognized in sports, in arts, in entertainment, to come for competitions and their performances in the United States. So majorly, if you're an artist, if you're an athlete, you're into sports, these are the kinds of visas that they usually apply for. And this kind of visa allows you to stay in the United States for up to 5 years. And during this period, you can also apply for an adjustment of status to become a green card holder. So these visa category holders can also bring in their family members, can bring in their dependents, they can even also bring in their personnel while on this visa category. So if you have become an international act, this is a good opportunity for you. And if you have not become one, you know that you have talent, stop wasting your talent. Ensure that you become globally recognized so that you can tap into this visa opportunity. So the P category visa has P1, P2, P3 with differentiating requirements. So I would leave a link in the description box for you as well to know more about this visa category and to see how you can tap into it. This next category of visa I want to share with you is actually much easier to obtain than every other kind of visa category because the competition here is lower. That is, so not so many people apply for this type of visa. But to get this type of visa, you need to have somebody in the United States, that is a company file for you, and this is the Q visa. So the Q visa is actually for people that are involved in intercultural exchange, that is, to learn about the United States culture while you're on this program. This can be through arts. Maybe you are coming to teach your language to a section or a community, or whatever your sponsor is involved in, you are teaching them your culture and you're also learning your culture. So this is different from the J1 visa, because now in the Q1 visa it can only be given for a maximum of 15 months. So whatever duty that you are performing as someone under Q visa has to have a cultural element. You have to be older than 18 years old, and like I said, it cannot be for a period more than 18 months. And so for this, you need an employer to file for you. You cannot file this for yourself. So it is basically for employment, and like I said, what I like about it is that the cap, there is basically no cap on this visa category, and even the competition is very, very low. So if you're doing something that involves a form of cultural elements, you can look for organizations in the United States that are interested in hiring you, then apply for this to come into the United States. So the last category of visa I want to share with you, through which you can come into the United States, is the H2A and H2b Visa category. This visa is given to people that are involved in jobs of seasonal or temporary nature, like agriculture. Like, this visa is basically called temporary agricultural workers. So it allows companies to hire temporary workers from abroad to come work in the United States, but there has to be it has to be for jobs that United States citizens are not involved in or are not currently willing to take jobs in. So it's a temporary visa, but it allows you to bring in your spouse and your children of unmarried status that are less than 21 years old. So when your spouse actually comes in with this visa category, they become H4 holders, and H4 holders in the United States are not eligible to work. And for this visa category, you can only be in the United States for a period of 3 years. After 3 years, you need to leave the United States and then reapply, say after a period of 3 months, to come back into the United States. And actually, this H2A and H2B visa category does not apply to every country. There are some countries that are eligible. The USCIS publishes this list. I'll leave a link to this list in the description box so that you can check if your country falls under this category to tap into this opportunity. Guys, I believe that this has been very valuable to you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are yet to, and also ensure to like this video so that YouTube can recommend this video to more people on YouTube. That way this video can have more views and my channel can grow. Thank you so much for helping me. God will bless you as you do so. Until I come your way again next time, stay winning and remember that God loves you. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Yeah, think of my